everyone. Welcome to Untamed Minds. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome. If you're here again, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this season of Untamed Minds. I hope all of you are enjoying it so far as much as I am. Today, I have a really special guest that I want to bring on. But before we introduce this guest, I want to talk and remind everyone that, the purpose of my podcast is to spread awareness about mental health, especially within our Hmong community, as that's a really tough topic to have discussions about. So I think it's really important for us to just listen to lived experiences, like real, raw experiences and stories from community members or friends, family members, and find something that we can relate to just to make us feel like we're not alone in our journeys. Also, to normalize having open conversations about mental health. I think that's the first step to normalizing it and seeking professional help. So today, the topic we're going to be talking about, it's going to be a topic I feel like a lot of people can relate to. So if you ever had a friend that where like you had a fallout with, we often talk about losing friends, but then we don't talk about the aftermath of it, right? Like how it affects us, our emotional, psychological state. So that's the topic that I kind of want to highlight on today, and talk about how grief kind of ties into that topic. So if you all can welcome my guest, Lydia. So Lydia and I, we have been friends for quite some time now. And I'm so happy to have her on here and talk about her own experiences. And hopefully you guys enjoy today's conversation as much as we will. So, Lydia, if you want to just introduce yourself, give us like a fun fact.
Hi guys, my name is Lydia Yang. Fun fact about me is maybe you guys know, maybe you guys don't. I'm also a singer as well. I do a little bit of music, but I haven't been able to get back into that, but hopefully I will soon. But yeah, I'm also a singer on the side.
Yes, she is a singer. She has a really beautiful voice. So if you guys have not
Thank you, thank
heard,
you.
so if you guys have not heard, she actually featured in one of Kevin Yang's song called Tukulu, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Kunyonda. No, yeah, that song, y'all. That song.
That one.
Yes, that one. So yeah, so I'm very excited. So before we kind of talk into or like dive into the topic, I do have a quick icebreaker question for us. So just very quickly reflecting on it, how or like what was something that made you feel happy today?
I guess this is something like today it's just little like materialistic stuff, but I'm getting back into doing my nails, like doing like nails again. So I was going through all my like materials, and I got some stuff in from Amazon today. So just kind of like getting that like excitement, like, oh my god, I'm starting to do what I love again, because I did stop doing it for like 3 years. So kind of just being happy that I have a goal, now that, so that was definitely something that like made me excited, made me happy today.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, wow. Just like hearing you talk about it making me happy because I mean, I don't know if y'all know, but she makes like her nail designs are so beautiful and she's never personally done it on me, but she does it on herself and I'll be like, damn girl. When
Don't
you gonna
worry,
hook it up?
soon. Soon,
When
don't
you gonna hook it
worry.
up? Just kidding. Yeah, but I'm glad you're, going back to your hobby of doing nails. I also realized as like your friend, that was that was what kept you at peace, so
Yeah.
that's good. I guess to answer this question for me, something that made me happy was my grandma sharing one of her coconut drinks with me. Oh, here.
That's so cute.
So, yeah, so I have it here on the side. I came home and she was like, "Oh, Gajo," that's my morning. "Gajo, like, you came home and, kuta ko eh, kusa share called Canada ko." And I was like,
Oh,
"Okay," like, that makes me so happy.
that's so
So that was
cute.
something that made me really happy today. So thank you for sharing that, your answer to the quick
Yes.
icebreaker question. So kind of diving into the topic. We're gonna like I said, we're gonna go date girl. Okay, so
I'm ready.
we like what the TikTok trend is saying, we listen, we don't judge. All right. So
Yes.
that's what we're gonna do. So the first question is just kind of was it warm transition or smoothly talk about the topic. Can you share with us a personal experience about like a friendship fallout that you've gone through and how it impacted you like emotionally? That was a never mind. That was a pretty deep question right off the bat.
I think all the
I'm
questions you
sorry.
got is pretty deep, but I love it. I had a fallout with, I would say I this is probably like one of the fallout that is still affecting me to this day. And I would say it's more of like a like friendships instead of a friendship because it was all kind of like one, but it was it impacted me pretty badly. Like it definitely made me kind of question like will I ever be able to trust people again or like just trust different individuals who are new into my life. And that breakup like it wasn't like nasty or messy or whatever, but it was more so like if I can't if I'm not gonna get my closure from you, then I'm just going to quietly walk away. And I still see them here and there. And it definitely like brings me back like to that moment of when, things kind of went south. And it kind of it makes me think that like what could have we done to make or to stop it from happening, So it made me it's sometimes it still makes me feel a little bit sad because I did really value our friendship, but maybe to them it was just like you're just this person and you weren't as important. Like you were just there in my life temporarily, So
Mhm.
it did impact me emotionally and it did hurt me a lot. It was
Mhm.
definitely one of those where it's like we could have talked it out, but you decided to just leave it as is with no closure. So it still hurts to this day, but
Mhm.
we're doing a lot better.
Yeah. And, like, I mean, well, my personal opinion is that friendship breakups hurt way more than, like, relationship breakups with, like, your
Yeah.
partner. I feel
Yes.
like, personally, with my own experiences, I feel like it hurts a lot more because
Yeah.
it's like when you're mad at your partner, you go tell your friends these things, right? Or, like, you
Mhm.
go and vent to them, and it's like when you have this fallout, it's sad because like, who do you turn to now, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, there's different level of friendships because like, I get it, your partner should be your best friend, which, like, I
Mhm.
totally agree, right?
Mhm.
But then your friend outside of your relationship is also important. It's what
Yeah.
keeps you I feel like having that social life or that social group keeps you grounded too, like, especially having, like, really good friends to kinda
Mhm.
keep you in check, right? Like, I think that's
Mhm.
also really important. So, girl, I hear you, friendship breakups definitely does take a toll on an individual, and just from what, like, you're telling me, you mentioned that it was more of, like, a friendships breakup instead
Mhm.
of a friend like a one-on-one
Excuse
friend
me. Yeah.
breakup. Yeah. Would you mind, like if you don't mind sharing, like, would you mind telling us or, like, kind of navigating us, like, through what happened or, like, what led to, like, your friendship to fall out, I guess, if that makes sense?
Yeah. Well, so like it pretty much started out with like us group of girls. And I'm still friends with some of them today, but it's like majority of them. And pretty much like to this day I still don't know the answer of what happened, Like I'm still like sometimes I still question like did I do this? Did I say this? Or like what was the reason? Yeah, like we were for all friends for I would say we started to become close towards the end, but it was about like a year or so. But like I felt so connected to these girls that like when things went south, like it was like what happened? Like I thought we were all on the same page, I thought we were all friends. And I think two of the girls in there I really connected to outside of our friend group. Like I vent to them, they vent to me, and like we shared a lot of personal things to each other, a lot of things that like I wouldn't feel comfortable telling other people or like telling other girls in our group. And they were the first two to kind of just turn their backs. And so it was definitely like very like confusing when it happened. Like
Mhm.
it all just kind of happened all at once. Um and it definitely it like I don't know how to explain this. Like it definitely opened a new light to me when it comes
Mhm.
to making new friends.
Mhm.
So after that happened, like I did reach out to them and I did ask like, is there anything that I did? Was there anything that I said that made you guys feel this type of way? I got no response. So I kind of took that as I know I probably wasn't the best person or the best friend, but I know that everything I said, everything I did for you guys was out of my pure heart. If you guys
Mhm.
won't even take a moment to just reply to me, then like that was my closure. Like that was like,
Mhm.
okay, we're done. Like we're not friends. We were never friends to begin with. Um, because if you simply cannot tell me what I did, I don't know what I did to better myself. So that was pretty much what happened.
Mhm. Wow, that sounds really painful or, like, hurtful that they
Yeah.
just kind of ignored you or, like, ghosted you, and I think that, like,
Mhm.
like what you said, if they're true friends, take a moment out of your day to
Yeah.
just reply to me, you know? And it's not like from what you're telling me, it's not like you were trying to attack them, you were trying to
Mhm.
see what's going on and, have a was it pivot the relate or, like, have this, like, moment of, like, growth, I guess, like, I like, from what
Mhm.
I'm seeing, having, like, this moment of reflecting and growth, like, what can you do to better yourself?
Yeah.
So, girl, and if it still hurts, like, that's valid, you
Like
know?
it's still like it's definitely still kind of like weird to see them around because
Mhm.
like with the girls that I did have a fallout with, they're all still friends. Like they all
Mhm.
still talk to each other. They all still hang out with each other. Um, I still see some of them post about each other. So like every time I see them in public, like it definitely still hurts. Like it definitely kind of opens the little scar in my heart.
Mhm.
Kind of like just like damn, like that used to be us, but
Mhm.
because it was something that like I don't know what happened. Like I keep saying to like some of my other friends like I don't know what I did wrong and
Mhm.
I wasn't given an explanation. I wasn't given like, oh, you said this or you did this that made us feel this type of way. So
Yeah.
yeah, it definitely still hurts to see them definitely in public, and it definitely still hurts whenever I think about it, because like it's still kind of like a new scar in
Mhm.
my heart. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for talking about that and sharing that with me and with the audience here. I mean, like friendship breakups, it's really hard for you to kind of just get over, right? Because
Mhm.
especially if you guys been friends for a long time and like what
Yeah.
you said, you share personal things with them that you don't share with anybody else. It's really hard and seeing them hang out without you, it's going to hurt cuz it's like
Mhm.
you always think about what did I do? What I did wrong? And most of the time, it's just a misunderstanding that
Yeah.
not a lot of people would want to go through, or maybe because they feel like it's not worth it.
Mhm.
And it sucks because it's like, damn, like I think it's worth it because I value our friendship, right? But then
Right.
exactly like what you said before, the fact that they're not able to work it out, maybe they didn't view the friendship the same way how
You're right.
you viewed it, so then
Yeah.
in a way it hurts, but then in a way it makes you feel kind of dumb. Well, like,
Mhm.
personally, that's how I felt, with, like,
Yep.
my friendship
Yep.
breakups too, it makes you feel dumb because
Mhm.
it's like, has this all along, has this been a one-sided thing,
Yeah.
all along, like, I thought that it was a mutual
Mhm.
feeling that, like, if me and you were to argue or me and you were to have a misunderstanding, we come together and talk
Mhm.
about it, right?
Yeah.
It's literally like a relationship,
It's
but
like it's so hard to like cuz like our friendship, like me and you plus our other girls,
Mhm,
like whenever we feel a certain type of way or like whenever we feel something that bothers us, like we voice it to each other, right? And I think
mhm,
because we've been friends for so long, I'm so used to that. Like I'm so used to like, hey, I feel like this and I want to tell you guys. I'm not attacking, I'm just telling you guys. And like we're also understanding and we're also willing to like help each other, that when I make new friendships or whenever like for that friendship for example, I took that mindset in and I kind of was like, okay, well if there's anything wrong, I'm just going to tell you. But I guess some people can't take can't take that, and so maybe,
Mhm.
like, maybe I might have just said how I felt, and it probably wasn't even serious too. It was probably just like, "I just didn't like how you said that," you know, like, it was
Mhm.
something simple like that, and they probably took that as I was attacking them, maybe, I don't know,
Mm.
you know? So, like,
Yeah.
I have so now I just kinda have to remember, like, not everybody is gonna be, like, my group of friends over
Right.
here, you know?
Right.
So, like,
Yeah.
it's so hard.
It no, it is hard, but then I feel like the thing is that, like, you should not fake yourself. You should not
Right.
fake yourself in different group of friends, because if
Mhm.
you are, then, like, it's like, who are you really?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, for me, it's like, if I have 2, 3 different group of friends that
Mhm.
give off, like, different vibes, Imma still be myself, and if I'm a
Right.
pretty direct person, Imma let that shit known, like,
Mhm.
I you just gotta own who you are, and don't allow other people's, like, was it perspectives change you
Mhm. Mhm.
based on, like, whoever you hang out with. Yes,
Yeah.
be mindful, like, maybe and okay, I honestly, like, the things that the fact that you're, like, direct and telling them how you feel, the way how they made you feel, sometimes people can't take it.
Mhm.
People think that it's you attacking them because they lack
Yeah.
a level of maturity too. I
Mhm.
think you have to be able to be mature to have these
Yep.
type of tough conversations, and
Mhm.
if some people, they would rather just close the door on you, then they're not
Yeah.
mature enough to talk to you
Yeah.
about this small situation. Because honestly, if you were to come to me and be like, "Oh, Jess, like, you said something that hurt my feelings," I would be, "Okay, let's sit down and talk about it." Like,
Mhm.
"I'm sorry for what I said wrong." Like, take accountability, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of like, most friendships fall out due to, like I said before, misunderstandings, pretty much it. We're
Mhm.
talking shit, but,
Yep.
like yeah, we're talking shit or jealousy, whatever. A lot of
Yeah.
friendships fall out because of that. But like I said, like, thank you for sharing that piece of, your
Yeah.
story with us, and I think that's something that I can really relate to too. Like, I was friends with my high school girls for
Mhm.
a long time. Like, we went to not elementary, we went to, like, I would say 4th grade all the way up to high
Mhm.
school. So we were friends for, like, t 10 years, like, 10 plus years.
Yeah.
And I started dancing, like, I started competitively dancing, and I made a group of friends, with my dance sisters,
Mhm.
and I noticed that they were hanging out without me. And so, at one point, I was pretty jealous, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty jealous. I was like, "Wow, like, I don't understand why they're hanging out without me, like, what's going on?"
Mhm.
So this one time, I had a pretty close guy friend that we all hung out together, and I reached out to him and I was like, "Hey, like, I noticed that you guys are doing events without me. Like, what's going on? Like, I really want to know, like, do you guys not want to be friends with me anymore? Like, what the
Mhm.
heck's going on?" And I remember him saying that, like, I guess it's just the vibe that I kind of gave off that I wasn't
Mm.
aware of. And I
Mhm.
think during that time, I felt attacked because honestly speaking, I wasn't mature that time to take in their critical criticisms that
Mhm.
might have, helped me to better myself as a human being. So,
Mhm.
I took offense to that, and I was like, "What the heck? Like, how come you guys never told me this? If you guys were my true
Mhm.
friends, you guys would've told me this from the start instead of just cutting me off and, like, not inviting me to these events." Long story short, a lot of he said, she said happened,
Mm.
and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just yeah, and then I just cut everyone off. So I was the
Mhm.
person who cut them off
Mhm.
because, yeah, I remember, like, a person that I was closer with in the group came up to me well, came to me texted me and said that, like, they were only friends with me because they pitied me, because they noticed that I've lost a lot of friends in the past, and so they
Mhm.
felt bad for me. That's why they stayed, being my friend. Like, that's why they stayed as my
Mm.
friend. And I was like, "Bro, that's type of relationship or if that's the way how you see me, I don't want it. I don't want a
Yeah.
friendship out of pity, you know?"
Yeah.
So, it definitely hurts, like, even now, like, they're still friends, and, like, I don't have anything bad to say about them because, we had good times, we had bad times, right? But we're
Mhm.
all grown up now. It's been years since that happened, and, like, I only want the best for them.
Mhm.
But then sometimes when I do see them hang out, it's like, wow, like, sometimes it makes me think, like, what could have happened if I stayed friends with them, I would be able to flaunt that I had that I stayed friends with my high school friends.
Mhm.
And sometimes, like, I see my sister's group of friends, and they're all friends from high school, and I get kind of like, "Damn, it could have been me, but it's okay."
It's
It's
okay.
okay.
That just means they're not meant to be. It's not meant to be in your life.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, that's okay, like I said, during that time, I wasn't mature enough to see what I did that hurt them. I had no sense of accountability at all. I was in this, like, victim mindset that was, like, pretty
Mhm.
toxic, I'm not gonna lie. So, kinda reflecting back on that, like, dang, I was a badass friend. Kinda reflecting back on that now.
She said, "Now that
I
I
was
think
a
about it."
badass. Now I know why. Just kidding.
She said, "Now that I think about it, I was the problem."
Yeah. I was the problem. Shit. If you know me then, you don't know me now. I'm a different person.
Change
But, like,
woman.
yeah. But no, like, I'm saying, like, the reason why, like, my closer friend and I fell out during that time, I didn't understand it because they heard from someone that I said that I didn't like them.
Mm.
So it was like, "What?" Like, I don't remember saying that. I don't remember saying that I didn't like you, bro. Like, you're my best friend.
Mhm.
Like, why would I say
Mhm.
that? And I
Mhm.
remember, like, interrogating well, not interrogating, but kinda like, investigating the situation, and I was like,
Mhm.
"Dude, like, just tell me who told you." And I remember them saying, "Oh, it's from a credible source." And I was like, "Dang, like, what's more of a credible source than me?" Like
Right. I'm the source.
yeah. And, like, honestly, I have no recollection of, like, saying that about
Mhm.
this friend that I had, but things happened. It's okay. Like, I have no bitter feelings. It's in the past. It really is. But, like, sometimes when
Mhm.
you reminisce or you think back about it, it does kinda sting
Yeah.
because it's like, wow, like, that could have been me with them, or,
Mhm.
like, I could have been able to watch their kids grow up, or, like, I could have been
Mhm.
able to attend their weddings and stuff, and
Mhm.
it's okay. No worries. No
Right.
no
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 worries.
regrets, no regrets, though, because honestly, like, I found my group of friends that I feel like I really hold dearly to my heart.
Me
Y'all
too.
know who y'all are. Y'all know who y'all are, so yeah, there's that. But yeah, that's my story to kind of I feel like
Mhm.
was relatable to yours. Earlier, you mentioned that with your friendship fallout, it affected the way how you view new friendships or, like,
Mhm.
yeah, can you elaborate a little bit more about, like, how that impacted you and, like, what I mean, obviously, when that happens, your guards are up, right? You have
Yeah.
higher standards. Can you
Mhm.
explain to us, like, how that affected you personally?
When that happened, it kinda like I said, it kinda opened my eyes. It kinda, like, showed me that, like, or kinda just showed I just told myself that, you can't always trust people, and, like, me, I'm a really, social person, and I'm really, like, I would think I'm very welcoming, like, if I'm meeting you, like, I will try to make conversation with you and just kinda go on from there. But I've noticed that ever since that fallout happened, I I haven't been really, like, out there. Like, I haven't really been trying to make new friends because it's like that, like, feeling in me that is like, what if this happens again? Because I don't have the mental capacity to be able to go through another friend fallout because I feel like sometimes I trust too easily. Like, oh, like, she's a cool person, or they're a cool person. Like, it's okay, it's all cool. But like, they could be thinking like, bitch, this bitch is annoying as fuck. Like, it's annoying. So, like,
Mhm.
I just been very, like, to myself, and kind of just, like, almost at the point where it's like I'm content with the people I have in my life. I'm content with my friends. So it's been very hard for me to, like, make new friends.
Mhm.
Even like, for example, like, I went to go to Minnesota this past week, and I met some of my boyfriend's relatives. Like, they're relatives, but it was very hard for me to be myself again, kind of like opening and very, like, loud, not loud, loud, but very,
Loud.
like, loud, very, like, just happy, or like just trying to get to know them. It was I was scared that even though you are my boyfriend's cousin, if I get close to you, what if things don't work out, so it definitely like took a little toll on me to kind of try to make new friends in a
Mhm.
way. So yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's where why boundaries are so important too,
Mhm.
especially with them being, your boyfriend's relatives, you
Mhm.
wanna share certain things with them, some things you don't want to share. Yeah, but I feel you, girl, like, same here, especially after my fallout with my previous best friend, I stopped believing in best friends or, like, the title of best
I
friends.
remember you telling me that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling you that, only because I felt like, if like, I think I was just so traumatized by what was said to me, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was only friends with you because I pitied you. I think, like,
Mhm.
that was engraved in my brain that,
Mhm.
like, okay, if this is how a best friend was like towards me, I don't think I want a
Mhm.
best friend.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
for a long time, I didn't believe in best friends. I always thought that it is true. Friends, they
Mhm.
some friends, they come and go, like, that's true.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I thought that all friends come and go.
Mhm.
I thought that, I'm not wasting my time, investing long-term
Mhm.
friendships anymore because I always thought that if I do invest in long-term friendships, they're just gonna pity me along the way. 100% of the time, I can't be 110%
Mhm.
vulnerable to
Yeah.
anyone, and I feel like if someone carries that title of as, like, my best friend, they have to be able to, I guess, accept all of me,
Mhm.
so I get you on that, and then, obviously you said that or, like, I brought up the fact that grief is also a part of
Mhm.
the healing process after the fallout. Did you feel like you ever experienced that? Like, what kind of, like, emotions or, like, mental health challenges did you experience after the fallout? Because like I said before, I know a lot of people don't really talk about the process of
Mhm.
it, and I think it's the process of it that hurts the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Um,
yeah.
for me, like after that fallout, I definitely was angry. I definitely was angry. I did cry a lot, but I think majority of it, like when it first happened, I was just angry. Like I was angry. I like it was almost like I couldn't accept that fact. Like I couldn't accept the fact that they didn't want to be friends with me anymore or they didn't want to do anything with me anymore. So I was definitely very angry. I was very confused. It was like I was going through 9 stages of grief pretty much. Like I was so like I'm grieving people that are still alive, And
Mhm,
it was really hard. Like I remember when it first happened, like I had a dancer that came over that night and I was telling her about it and we were like talking and I definitely was very angry. Like she was like, "Are you okay?" Like I was definitely very angry. A lot of customers came out that night, But then as time went on, like how do I say? Like I kind of just forgot about it. Like I kind of was just I slowly accepted it. I'm slowly accepting it now, but I definitely was very angry and I remember I couldn't really like focus at work because I was just constantly thinking like what did I do? What did I do? What did I say?
mhm,
Um why are they not answering me back? Like I had to like take a moment to step back and kind of like see kind of my actions too. Like after the anger like oh it's their fault, it's their fault. They like why can't they just come? Like I had to kind of reflect on myself too, kind of think about like okay, the times that we were together, the events that we went to together, like what did I do to like either piss them off or kind of just reevaluate myself too as a person because like with the grown and the mature mindset that I'm trying to have,
mhm,
like I have to take accountability too because,
mhm,
like maybe like yes, they did take the first step into cutting me off, but like there has to be a reason why, and like if in their eyes I did something wrong, well, okay, now I have to kind of reflect and be like, okay, there's things that maybe I shouldn't have said. There's actions that I shouldn't have done. So like I definitely took that time to kind of just chill out and kind of just like, okay,
Mhm.
like, yeah, like I said, kind of just reflecting on
Mhm.
just myself in general, like not on the relationship because obviously I don't know what I did wrong, so I can't reflect on my actions
Uh-huh.
there, but
Yeah.
just reflecting as a person and reflecting on all my friendships because like as like I'm friends with you and the other girls, like I also have friends here in Madison, so like just reflecting on all my friendships and reflecting as a person too. So I definitely was very angry at first. I cried a lot because I valued our friendship a lot, and I was so just so broken. I was so
Mhm.
heartbroken, so I slowly accepting it. And I was also stressed out too because the overthinking, so stress was one of it too. Yeah, that was pretty much like the grief that I went through, the like, you
The
know,
aftermath.
mhm, the
Yeah, girl.
process of everything.
Mhm. It's a long process for sure. I mean, everything you felt, everything you're feeling right now, I just wanna reassure you that it is valid. Like, girl, like I said, we listen, we don't judge,
Yes.
and
We
I'm not gonna
listen, we
judge you for
don't
that,
judge.
and yeah, and I hope that, like, listeners don't judge, any of us for sharing our experiences and stories as
Mhm,
well, and I wanna bring up the fact that you said, you were grieving for a person that was still alive, and I think
mhm,
that point is so sad and also very strong too because personally, I feel like it's harder for you to grieve about someone who's alive because you
mhm.
still see them around,
Yeah.
right?
That's why I say it still hurts when I see them,
Yeah.
hang out and do stuff. So yeah, like grieving somebody that's still alive, it hits different than grieving somebody that has passed away, because you
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
see them anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is a different type of grief for sure, but at the end of the day, it's grieving, right?
Mhm.
And people grieve over a lot of things. People grieve over, friendships, parents' divorce, loss of a job, everything,
Mhm.
anything you can grieve over. And to others, they might think, oh, it's just a friendship. It's fine. Like friends come
Yeah.
and go. And they kind of just like nonchalantly brush it off.
Mhm.
But the thing is, I think personally, I feel like that's not a mindful thing to do, especially because you don't know how their relationship was,
Mhm.
right? So, to you, it might be nothing, but to them, it could be a lot of things. And I
Yeah.
think, yeah, it's just like a message to the listeners out there. Like, if you've ever thought, it's fine, if you've ever thought this way, it's okay. Like, we're all human beings. We have our own
Mhm.
judgments. We all, have our own thoughts and stuff. Like, oh, it's nothing. I don't know why they're even crying over that. Like, oh, it's so
Mhm.
stupid. If you've ever thought this way, like I said, it's okay. Just moving forward, like you just gotta be mindful that, if it affects them differently than how it affects you, it's fine. Let them
Yeah.
grieve about it. It's just a part of the healing process, honestly.
Mhm.
But I do relate to you in that way too. Obviously after breaking up, well, not breaking up, but after falling out with my group of friends, I felt really lonely because they were my only Milwaukee friends that I had during that time.
Mhm.
So they would, I would see that they were hanging out every weekend, and then every weekend I was dancing.
She was always
S
gone.
Yeah, I was out of town most of the time, but at first I felt like you, I felt angry, I felt, like, confused, I didn't
Mhm.
know, and then back then, I was a person where, like, once I feel like I'm being attacked, I push people away.
Mhm.
So I started shutting down.
Mhm.
I started shutting down. Some girls from that group of friends did try to reach out to me, and I
Mhm.
just like, "No, like, back off," like, "You're
Yeah,
part
yeah,
of that
yeah.
group, like, don't talk to me."
Mhm.
So, that was how I kind of reacted to it because I think I just needed time for myself to kind of process everything, like, what happened.
Mhm.
I think I accepted it right away that we were not friends anymore, so
Mhm.
that was pretty quick for me, but
Mhm.
I was like I said, initially, I was angry. I accepted that we weren't friends anymore because I was the one who cut them off, And
Mhm.
then I started feeling lonely and sad about it, and that was when I
Mhm.
cried. I feel like if I had to reflect back on it, like, most of the reason why I was crying was not the fact that I lost them, but more so I felt like I lost a part of me, and I felt
Mhm.
like I just felt like a really bad human being.
Mhm.
you know, a lot of self-sabotaging, I guess you can say.
Mhm.
So that was the main reason why I cried back then. So that definitely did affect me and my mental health as well. I stopped, although during that time I had like my dance sisters with me, I was also very closed off and being more than just dance sisters.
Mhm.
So yeah, my guards were up during that time. But obviously we talk about what we like the pain that we felt while losing a friendship or like after losing a friendship. Would you
Mhm.
mind telling us like some healthy ways or coping strategies that you have tried that worked with you, that worked for you throughout the process of like the pain of like losing close friends?
For me, kind of like how I slowly started to kind of like accept the fact that we're no longer friends is because it was a group of people. Um, there was definitely it was almost like it became two groups. Like one group was here and the other group was here. But it also helped talking to people that are not part of the group at all. Um, so I definitely have talked to like one of my best friends here in Madison who I tell a lot of stuff to, and I definitely like definitely just opening up to her and to other people about it, um because like getting her opinion because she wasn't part of the group, like it was definitely helpful too. And then also talking to people that were part of the group that also got cut off, so it wasn't just that I got cut off, but it was also like other girls also got cut off too. So kind of like
Mm.
talking to them and
Y'all
seeing
were
how
trauma bonding.
we were trauma bonding at
Oh
one
my
point.
gosh.
But no, like it was just like checking in on each other
Mhm,
um because like one of the girls that we were friends with, like she didn't give a fuck. Like she was just like, okay, you're gonna cut me off for what? Like I didn't do nothing. I was here for you. So she didn't really care, but she definitely was there to make sure that I was okay, the other friends were okay. So just I guess just not keeping it in, because sometimes I do that. Sometimes when I'm feeling like very down or very like okay, when I'm angry, I can't keep that in. But
mhm,
when I'm just like stressed out, where I'm just very sad, like don't keep it in. Like I've learned that throughout the years, that don't ever keep stuff in that bothers you, even if you voice it to the person that you're having a problem with, or voicing it to just like your friends. Like definitely that was a big part of my healing process of this fallout, because I was able to see other people's point of view, and I was able to, kind of hear like what other people have to say too about the situation, especially with the girls that also got cut off, and like how they feel about it. So definitely talking to people that you can trust. And like I with like my best friend, I've known her for the longest, and like she's like my twin flame. So like
mhm,
I know that I can trust her. I know that she got my back. So like being able to even tell her about my other fallout, like she was definitely like, I'm trying to see from two different side. And she like she didn't agree with things that I've said, so she held me accountable for that, which was great,
mhm,
because then
mhm,
I can see like, okay, you know what, I shouldn't have said that about them. But she also was very like understanding too about the situation. So yeah, definitely talking to other people definitely helped a lot to help with the grieving process, so I could get a clear mind. Because I think if I didn't, I definitely would have also played the victim card, like I'm not in the wrong. Like I'm not in the wrong.
mhm,
I didn't do nothing. But to be able to have people that are able to be like, maybe you shouldn't have said that, or maybe it was this, and maybe you can reflect on that. Like it was definitely helpful. It opened up like my eyes, and kind of just like, okay, like you're right. Like I can't always be the victim.
mhm.
So now I'm kind of like, it's okay to be the bad guy. It's okay, because sometimes the bad guys are cool, okay? Just sometimes it's okay. You know,
Yeah.
you can't
Eh
always be the
mhm.
victim. You can't always be the hero in people's story.
Girl, but honestly, in everyone's stories, they are the victim.
Mhm.
Not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah, that's
Even
true. That's
yeah.
very true.
In their own perspective, they are the victim, and I
Mhm.
speak from experience because that was me back then, okay? Like, I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
in that victim mindset back then, like,
Right.
I was like, "I did nothing wrong," like,
Mhm.
it's on them, they lost a good friend, blah, 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 and, like, back then that's because I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better. I was
Mhm.
only, like, 18, 19, super young
Mhm.
still,
Yeah, yeah.
um, and I was very bitter, about it, and so the way how I coped with it, it was not girl, it was not even close to being as healthy as the way how you cope with yours right now. So the way how I cope with it, girl, I did it. I just, like I just bottled
She
it in.
said, "I'm good. I'm
Yeah,
good."
yeah, and, like, I talk shit about them to other people, like, I'm being very transparent right now, and,
Yeah.
honestly, like, there are some things in my life where, like, I feel like I wasn't the brightest, and I think that was a point in my life where I felt like
Mhm.
I was so bitter and I was very dull, not the brightest version of myself. So yeah, I admit like I did talk shit about like my old group of friends to
Mhm.
a lot of my family members or even like my dance sisters during that time.
Mhm.
And like I said, we were young. Or like I was young. I didn't know any better, right? So
Mhm.
I was in this mindset where like, you know what? It's okay. I'm gonna prove to them that I'm so much better without them.
Mhm.
And I think it came back and bit me in the ass because it's like, at the end of the night, I cry about them.
Mhm.
I don't know if they ever cried about me, but I cried about them, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was sad. Like, I was this girl who tried to put on, like, a facade, this strong ass mask, like, trying to was it fake myself to look like I'm unbothered as hell, but
Mhm.
down low, like, I was so bothered by the fact that things ended off the way it did.
Mhm.
Without any closure, and I'm a person back then where, like, I needed closure, I need closure, I need to find out what was going on, and I feel like now that I'm grown up, a lot more mature and a better mindset, I'm starting to see and understand that, like, oh, wow, like, maybe things did fall off because of some things that I did say to them that
Mhm.
probably hurt their feelings that I wasn't aware of back then. So yeah, so I'm glad that, you were able to find some healthy, um, coping
It
mechanisms that worked for you, and, like, I think you brought up also a really good point that, like, you need a fresh perspective that is not part
Mhm.
of the situation, because
Yeah.
that 3rd perspective really does play a huge difference. Because 1, they are unbiased, and 2, I like that they hold you accountable, right? Because I
Yeah.
think accountability is really important. One of my very close friends distanced themselves from me because of something
Mhm.
that I said
Mm.
while they were going through, some hardships, and I wasn't aware that what I said was insensitive,
Mhm.
and thinking about now, like, it makes me like, I'm still sad because it's like this person was literally, like, my right-hand person, like,
Mhm.
I love this person so much. We basically grew up together,
Mhm.
and it's not like I don't talk to them anymore, I do. Everything is still like, whenever I see them, everything we still talk like normal, which I like, but at the
Mhm.
same time, the spark isn't there anymore, like, you just
Mhm.
know things have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess during that time, I wasn't angry
Mhm.
because right when they said I was being insensitive, I apologized,
Mhm.
and I took accountability for what I said that was insensitive.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference of the person I am now to the person I was before, was that, like, I'm what is that? I'm more aware of myself, and on top of that, some other coping mechanisms that I did was I just cried. I think crying it out really, really helped.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, you
I
gotta cry.
agree. You gotta let it all
Crying
out.
yeah, even during some days where I feel like I shouldn't even be sad, but I know deep down I'm really sad, girl, I will force myself to cry. I will put on, like, a sad ass music, some K-dramas, K-movies that are sad as fuck, and I'll just cry. And I think
And
that's what helped me.
yeah, and I think I learned that from you and the other girls. I think because like
Mhm,
it's always like you always hear like don't cry, like why are you crying? Like don't cry. You know, I grew up with that like you like
mhm.
don't cry over things like this, right? But I really learned that from you and other girls because like I'm able to be vulnerable. You know, I'm able
Mhm.
to cry and I that's definitely where I learned it. Like I would still say like don't cry but cry. You know, like don't
Oh,
cry
yeah, I've heard you
but
say that,
yeah,
girl.
don't cry but cry. Like let it all out because like I'm able to do that, you know? So like I feel like other people should be able to do that. And like I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't talk shit about my situation too. I definitely did. But like with having the third person, you know, point of view, like that was kind of where I kind of checked myself too and was like, okay, like maybe I need to shut the fuck up. maybe I need to just maybe I just need to rewind. Okay, cool,
Mhm.
reset. But yeah, no, I definitely learned the crying from you guys. I'm not trying to make us sound weak, but
Girl, no, it's not weak at all. I feel like if you're able to cry and be vulnerable, girl, you're strong as fuck.
yeah.
Like, a lot of people think that's weak, but personally,
Mhm.
I feel like if you're able to cry in front of me and tell me how you really feel and be vulnerable, give you props, cause that's, like,
Mhm.
you're brave for doing
Yeah.
that, you know? So, don't ever think of it as anything weak, and even to the audience too, if you're listening, don't ever
Yes.
think that you're weak for being vulnerable in front of, like, your friends or family members even.
Yeah, cuz
But
I can't count how many times I cried in front of you guys.
yeah, girl, and that's fine. Honestly, who keeps count anymore?
You're right.
Who cares? Who keeps count anymore? If you gotta cry, you gotta cry, period,
Right,
that's it.
right.
Um, but yeah, like, as I was saying, like, some other coping or, like, healthy coping mechanisms that I tried was definitely journaling. I like to journal, so
Mhm.
that's another one, and 2 would be just confiding in, like, your partner, because my
Mhm.
partner was also close with this person, right? So I was
Mhm.
confiding in them, and they were that 3rd perspective that I needed.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I screenshotted all the text messages and sent it over to him, and I'm like, "Can you tell me, like, what I said that was wrong? Like, please."
Mhm.
Like, hold me accountable because I don't know what I said that was wrong.
Mhm.
He told me his, opinions and stuff, and it also helped me understand a little bit more because it's different when you're in that situation and you're a person
Mhm.
from the outside looking at it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So those were a lot of different healthy ways to cope with was it a friendship fallout?
Mhm.
Eventually, it didn't take me long to accept the fact that we were not close as how we used to be because it also comes with respect. Like you just respect
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
And this friend of mine, they automatically put their walls up and they set boundaries quickly. Like it's okay, whatever I did wrong, I apologize to that. And even if we can't be close anymore, I'm still glad that we're able to celebrate with each other, on our small wins and even big wins too. So that's all that
For
matters. And I think
sure.
that yeah, that's the like I said, the mature mindset that a lot of people would need to have if they do want to still keep in contact with people that they valued once in
Yeah.
their life.
And like for me, like with my situation, like I I have to admit, like I did feel hate towards them, but like I said, like I'm slowly accepting it, and it kind of gets to the point where some days I don't think of them. I don't think of what happened. But just recently, I went to an event and I did see one of the girls there, and we're getting like the desserts and stuff. So I was in line and it was her and somebody else that was with her, and they tapped me on the shoulder and they're like, "Oh, we just wanted to say hi to you." But this person's not involved with the situation, but one of them obviously is. And it kind of made me kind of like question, because I don't know to other people, but to me, especially with like how like social media is, like once you unfriend me or unfollow me on platforms, like I take that as you no longer want to have a friendship or any type of contact towards me. So this person that I saw this other weekend at the event, she unfollowed me, unfriended me on everything, like TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, like everything. No trace. But when she tapped me on the shoulder, she was like, "Oh, we just wanted to say hi to you." Like that really made my mind go like, "What? Like what just happened?" Like are like I was text and then I texted one of the girls that were involved with the whole situation. I'm like, "They just said hi to me. This is kind of weird." Um but I guess that kind of like opened up a little bit of my wound, kind of just like I was healed and then you came back and then you're like, "Hi, like I just like how are you doing?" Catching up. But I just wanted to share that because it was so weird and like it definitely made me think like, are we good or are we like I just questioned it. But
Mhm.
yeah, that
Yeah,
I
I
just wanted
can
to
yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. I can see why it can be confusing,
Mhm.
because, social media, especially in the Hmong community, Facebook, right? Instagram, everything, social media. We post a lot of our
Mhm.
personal life shit on there.
Yeah.
So when a person unfriends you or unfollows you, you take it as like, "Oh, so you no longer wanna associate with me, so you're
Mhm.
cutting me off," right?
Mhm.
But personally, I used to think that, I did, but after a lot of, like, reflecting, I feel like maybe they just needed like, that was their boundary.
Mhm.
Maybe maybe they still want to be mutual with you whenever they see you and still wanna ask you how you're doing, catch up with you, but on social media, maybe they're not ready to, see what's going on in your life yet because a part of
Mhm.
them, maybe they're healing too from
Mhm.
something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I always try to see it from the other perspective now that, after a lot of reflecting, that, like, yes, some people may take it as, like, once you unfriend me, we're no longer friends, and maybe that is the case, but then
Mhm.
that doesn't mean that if you see them in public, you have to be shady, right?
Mhm.
So, because like, me personally, like, even, like, my old, like, high school friends, if I see them in public, I still say hi to them.
Mhm.
I'm like, "Hi, oh my gosh, like, how are you? I heard you got married, congratulations, blah, 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 all this stuff. You have a baby? Nice, congrats." And I think, like I said, I think it comes with just accepting the fact that things not the same, but you don't have to hold a grudge against
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and yeah, girl, that's how you're not bitter, like, you can't
Yeah.
be bitter, you know?
Yeah. Like I think for me because the situation is still kind of new in a way.
Right. Mhm.
Like like I said, I'm slowly accepting it. I haven't
Mhm.
accepted it all the way. So like when that happened, like when I saw her, it definitely like made me question like so
It caught you off guard a
like
little
it
bit.
really did I wasn't shady. Frankly, I didn't even see her until she came and like tapped me on the shoulder, but I saw her and I was like, "Oh, like hi, how have you been?" Like I still did like have a conversation with her. Um, it was normal, like, the conversation was, like, normal, like, how we would talk, but it's still, like, that back of the head kinda, like, moment where it's
Mhm.
kinda like, "Do you like me or not?" Like, "Are we friends or not?" Or, like, "Are we
Yeah.
neutral or not?" Like
Mhm.
like, a part of me really just wanted to ask her, like, "So what happened?" But then not the time, not the place. So
Mhm.
I just said hi, and we were kind of on our way, and like that was that. But it definitely like kind of was kind of like what just happened. Like I was confused. I was very
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah. I hear you, girl. I mean, and, like, honestly, with you saying that it's so fresh too, like, that's understandable, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, so, I mean, however you're feeling, it's valid. Just wanna reassure you of that. If I were in your shoes, I'd probably be just as confused as you are, especially the fact that, like, you have not 100% accepted it yet.
Mhm.
But, yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't hurt to just be kind, right? So,
Mhm.
thank you for sharing that piece, with
Yes.
with us.
Because when you're
Uh
talking, I'm like, I just remembered that this happened the other day.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty recent too, so, yeah, thank you
Yeah.
for, just sharing that part, of, just, like, the process of, like, your friendship fallout and then aftermath of it. So,
Mhm.
obviously, we kind of touched base on how you have, like, trust issues after this. So, let's say, like, if you were to meet a new friend, what would they need to do to break down your barriers to become your friend? Like, what steps can help with this process?
Um, this was the question that I was thinking about the hardest because I was like, I haven't made a new friend ever since that happened. So I
Oh
don't
my
really
god.
know. But I think if it was to happen, like for me, like just for me, like personally myself first, like I said, I wouldn't open up as fast, but I think time for me because sometimes I rush like a relationship, like or friendship, you know. So I definitely to kind of rebuild that, like I definitely want to get to know the person more so I could be able to, trust them again. Like we could joke around and have fun because, like I love joking around. I love making people laugh. I love laughing, so like definitely time, like take it slow, like don't rush a friendship because if this is somebody I want in my life long term, like I definitely want to make sure that they will be in my life for like long term. So like kind of slowing it down and like not be as trusting at first and kind of seeing how things are, but on their end, like I just want to see how they are. Like I just want to see if I could trust them, you
Mhm.
know.
So kinda, like,
So
feeling the
like
vibe a little
there's
bit.
yeah, like I
Mhm.
would say there's not really much they have to do to, kind of like make me open up again. It's just I think just getting to know them, like
Mhm.
just knowing them as a person. So I wouldn't really like look for stuff in them. I would just see if I, as time goes, see if I can trust them. Because I feel like a lot of friendship is definitely based off of trust, So I definitely think time plays a big part in that. And I don't think I would really be looking for much or like certain characteristics in that person. Um, yeah, just kind of see how things go.
Yeah, trust is a huge part of it.
Mhm.
It's really it's hard, um, after it's just a lot of trauma. I feel like
Mhm.
there's a lot of trauma, a lot of PTSD when you see
Mhm.
things are l let's say, like, if this new friend of yours is showing some red flags, then I feel like, for me, I tend to shut down quickly.
Mhm.
I tend to, again, push them away,
Mhm.
like, you know, back
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
back then. I pushed them away, because I was scared. I was scared of getting hurt, so I protected myself
Mhm.
first. So, it was a while for me to like, it took a while for me be to find, like, my true group of friends, like, even, like, you and the girls, Yes, we all were in the dance community together, but then
Mhm.
the point like, the pivot point in our lives where, like, in my life where I felt like these are my girls. It took a
Mhm.
while
Mhm.
because, girl, my trust issues
No,
my
that's
trust
like that's
is
so
high.
understandable because I think we talked about this a lot. Like we talked
Mhm,
about our friendship a lot. And like I personally feel like as a group of friends as we are, like we definitely have grown. Obviously we still, have some stuff that we could fix, but
mhm,
I feel like it did take like a few years for us to actually be able to be like, okay, you know what, this is how I feel, and this is,
mhm.
so like it definitely, yeah, I get it. Like it definitely took a lot for all of us actually to really be where we are.
Yeah, it took me a while to, even get close to, like, you and the other girls
Mhm.
and, like, be 100% like myself.
Mhm.
Because like I said, at the end of the day, like, the back of my mind, Imma always think like, "Oh my god, they're gonna pity me, are they gonna pity me?" That's just
Mhm.
like I said,
Mhm. Yeah.
PTSD, like, that's just in my head.
Drama.
Just trauma, and
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like I didn't fully begin to trust you guys
Mhm.
until I started trusting myself that, like,
Mhm.
no, like, I deserve good friends in my life, you
Mhm.
know? I started changing, like, the way how I view things. I started
Mhm.
changing my perspective, the way how I think, the way how I
Mhm.
reflect, process things, and I think once you start looking at the internal problems, that's when it'll
Mhm.
reflect on the external,
Mhm.
relationships that you have around you.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think that's why it probably took a while for me to even, like, trust you ladies, like,
Mhm.
100%, because, like, before it was all, yeah, like, fun, games, yeah, we talk about some topics here and there. I cry to you guys, you cry to me,
Mhm.
but am I really being 100% myself? Honestly, I didn't start doing that till, like, I'll say 2 years,
Mhm.
2 years ago. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was when I started being 100% myself. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
And
yeah, like mhm.
I think that that was like a lot of us though, cause like I think that's when we all really were like whenever we hung out, like that's when we all really like started to actually have like deep talks, and we actually started to really like open up to each other. Cause like we opened up to each other, but like I think for me too, like I I definitely started to like um tell a lot of things more, and I definitely was I became more like vulnerable to you guys.
Yeah, no, I understand, girl. I mean, like, I feel like I was in the same boat, but I think a lot of it also came from just every single one of us keeping each other in check. I think
Mhm.
those were the type of friends that I was looking for, someone
Mhm.
who can who wouldn't was it be shy, or someone who wouldn't be afraid to confront me if I did anything that hurt their feelings.
Mhm.
Someone who would be down to have real conversations with me. I think
Mhm.
those are the type of relationships that I looked for, and I think that's what I found in you and the other ladies, so
Mhm.
I can confidently say, like, this is my forever group. Like, bitch, I'm making y'all sign contracts after this.
um, you want to
Legal
offend
binding
me?
contracts. I'm just kidding. No, but, like, this is, like, my group, like,
Mhm.
these are the girls I wanna grow old with, like, my
Yeah.
forever sisters. I want my kids to
Mhm.
grow up with them, their kids to grow up with mine, and, like, yeah, this girl, you guys are my home. That's what I'm saying. You guys are, like, my safe spot, and
That's why you be getting FOMO every time we hang
I do, girl. I'll be getting hella FOMO. I'll be like, "Are you guys home tomorrow? Are you guys busy? Imma come over."
out. No,
Make a
because like
one-hour drive.
because I definitely learned, because like growing up, like kind of the way that I was at school too, like I was like the only pretty much like the only Asian girl in like my school. So I was always scared, and like I am still scared, but like I was always scared to get judged, like acting a certain way or looking a certain way, or whatever. But at first when we started hanging out, like, girl, when I tell you, I was so scared that like if I did something like weird or strange, or if I say something weird or strange, like I was scared that I was gonna get judged. So like definitely now I get fucked now. like like now if I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna say it. If you judge me, okay, cool. But like definitely I learned that like with you guys, it's okay to be myself, you know,
Mhm.
or it's okay to like just laugh, because we had some good laughs,
We
we funny, we
do.
funny
Girl,
people.
we funny. And I think it's also because we have the same humor too,
Yeah,
which is, like, so funny.
yeah,
Which, like, yeah, and, like, girl, I hear you, it being scared of getting judged, who doesn't?
yeah.
Like, we're all scared, like, who doesn't want to be liked?
Mhm,
Maybe some people, they really don't give a fuck. I think you know your true friends
mhm,
the moment when you do something quirky or weird in front of
mhm,
them, and they don't mind that. That's when
mhm,
you know, like, "Oh, yeah, they're my true friends.
mhm.
Because even if I say some shit that don't make sense, they understand me, or, like yeah, or, like
That's so
yeah, like,
true.
they don't judge me for
Yeah,
for being my weird self?
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad that girl, I'm glad we're having this talk, honestly.
For real.
I'm glad we're having this talk. But kind of going back into the topic, obviously we talked about what we go through during a friendship fallout,
Mhm.
the process after that. So I want to touch base on like what have you learned about yourself, throughout the process of losing a close friend, or like how has that helped you grown like emotionally and like or like mentally? Like how has that changed you as a person?
Especially with like the situation, I've learned that um I good and bad things about myself. I learned that I could be a stubborn person, but then I also learned that I can also be, I mean, I already know that I could be very forgiving, but I I learned that I could put my foot down because like I'm a type of person that is like, if you don't like me, that's fine. Whatever, I go on. But with this situation, I learned that if I didn't put my foot down and I didn't see my value or my worth, I would have been more broken than I am today. Like I think that if I didn't just like if I was like, it's okay, like maybe like if I would have put the blame on myself instead of like you did what you did and you did what you thought was best for them. If they don't like it, if they didn't value it, then that's fine. So I kind of like put my foot down to where I was like, you are the good person, but it's okay to be the bad person. So I kind of was just like, I guess in a way I became stronger that way, where it didn't affect me as much as some other people that got cut off, because I know a lot of the girls that are still kind of also healing from it. They're also kind of like why did they do what they did, or like they're very still hurt by it. But for me, like every time that we talk about it to each other or we kind of bring it up, I'm just kind of like, well, we're not perfect, they're not perfect, so if they want to talk, let's talk. If they don't, that's fine. I think I became emotionally stronger that way because um like it kind of just gave me a sense of like relief of where if they don't want to talk, I'm okay with the rest of my life not talking. So like
Mhm.
I became stronger in that aspect, and I learned that I can accept things a lot faster than I thought, because
Mhm.
I like, yeah, I'm still accepting it now, but if this was me like 5 years or 5 6 years ago, I wouldn't be able to like heal or to like recover from it like this fast, because after like I think like 2 or 3 weeks after the whole thing happened, like I forgot about it. Like I didn't think about it like every day like I did like the first 2 days. Like I was just kind of like, it is what it is, it happened. And if they ever want to come back and talk, I'm open to talk. But I don't think things will repatch. I don't think we're able to repatch what happened. But I will listen to
Mhm.
what they have to say. So I think I've become a lot stronger. But also in a way I know like I also was very stubborn about it too. Why? Like why? You know, like
Mhm.
like I'm not gonna change myself to fit this this standard that you wanted me to be. If you didn't like me, then that's fine. But I also learned that I was also a very stubborn person. So maybe that was probably why we fell out, because I was a stubborn person, or I can't be stubborn. But from what I've learned with this whole situation is that I I've become stronger emotionally. And
Mm.
I
So
don't
mhm.
yeah, I don't dwell on a situation that I don't need to dwell on, you know?
Mhm.
So that's
So
definitely something I learned about myself along
yeah.
the way.
Mhm. So I'm hearing a lot of growth, a lot of resilience, which is
Yes.
great. And I'm glad that you're able to see that about yourself too, because, like being stubborn has its pros and cons. I think everything
Mhm.
has its good and bad. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're able to gain something. The fact that you're even able to admit that, yeah, like you were stubborn, I think that is a sign of that is a sign of, like, growth, like, self-growth,
Mhm.
and I think that's what you will carry with you for the rest of your life, you know?
Mhm.
As long as you continue to do a lot of reflecting and, taking accountability for your wrongdoings too, you know, you probably go far in life with, your current friendships that you have right now.
Mhm.
So I guess for me, something that I learned, I guess, like, the most recent one, the one where my close friend kind of distanced themselves,
Mhm.
I learned throughout the process that, like, I only cried about them once. It was, like, a hard
Mhm.
ass cry, and after that, like, accepted it.
Mhm.
And the cry wasn't even that like, it wasn't even about the situation. It was just that,
Mhm.
like, I missed them. Like, I
Mhm.
missed what we had. And
Mhm.
so once I cried that out and I accepted it, everything kind of fell into place. Like, yeah, like, I did have the conversation with them. The way we are now isn't the way that I would want us to be in, like, our friendship, right? I want us to go back
Mhm.
to how we were because what we had was
Right.
very special. But I also understand that it's okay, I learned about myself that I'm able to consider their feelings
Mhm.
because, girl, like I said, my first friendship breakup, I didn't give a fuck. Like, I did not consider
Mhm.
nobody else's feelings but my
That
own.
that was definitely me too with like my first friendship breakup, which was like in high school, and it was with
Mhm,
one of like because like I said, I went to like a all white school, so like
mhm,
when that friendship fell out, like I didn't give a fuck. Like I was kind of just like, okay, well you're stupid,
mhm.
whatever. So definitely I can relate on that end too.
Like, oh my god, just comparing, like, how I was before to, like, how I handle things now, it's so different.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I said, it comes with a lot of experiences that you learn from. I
Mhm.
learned from my previous like, my first friendship breakup
Mhm.
and how bad I handled that
Mhm.
compared to, like, my most recent one. I think I've handled it a lot better, and I
Mhm.
think that's why I'm still able to talk to this person and still be happy for them and still, like, have a lot of love and care for them, like,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
person, I will always love them,
Mhm.
no matter what. I will always stand up for them even if we're not c as close as how we used to be,
Mhm.
because they just hold that much of a power to, like, how special they are to me,
Mhm.
so I guess the one thing I learned is that I'm able to, 1, I learned how to be more mindful of my words during sensitive times.
Mhm.
2, I learned that I was able to consider, like, not just their feelings, but, like, also my own feelings as well, that, like, what I'm feeling is how I feel, and that's valid. And
Mhm.
then 3, being able to be happy for them,
Mhm.
even if we're not as close as how we used to be. I think that
Mhm.
those are the 3 main things that I learned about myself is that, like, I don't always gotta be bitter about things
Mhm.
because it's not just like, it's gonna affect me at the end of the day, and, like, do I
Right.
have the energy to be bitter about
Uh-huh.
things? No, like, I wanna live a peaceful life, and things that comes with peace, you have to be able to forgive and also reflect and grow.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
that's the one thing well, those are a couple things that I learned about myself throughout the process of, having a friend that chose to distance themselves from me, which I totally understand.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, like I said, thank you so much for sharing that piece of
Of
your story with
course.
us. So this topic has been really good. So I do want to ask, last question before we conclude this episode. So the last question I do have for you is like, what advice would you give to someone who is like probably going through a friendship breakup and is like struggling with their own like mental health?
Mhm. Um, I guess an advice is always remember that you're not alone. Like, um, even if you feel like you're alone, you're not because even if you felt like have a fallout with a certain person, just know that there is always somebody out there, no matter if it's a friend, family member, whatever, they're always there for you. And I I learned that with this fallout that no matter how many friends I lose, I will always have these people right by my side. And that's definitely something that I had to learn, because um when you lose somebody that close, you think like, how can I ever trust someone? But always know that you're never alone, and you always will have somebody who is there for you, no matter if they're family, friends, or whatever. And always remember to stay true to your feelings, and always remember that your feelings are valid no matter what happened. Like it could, like they say, it's always two sides to the story. So they might feel this way, but you also feel this way. So always remember that the way that you feel and the way that you are is valid, because that's who you are, that's how you feel. And you should never apologize for feeling how you feel. If you're coming from a sincere part, or if you're coming from a pure heart and you just want to tell them that, hey, what you said, I don't agree with, or it hurt my feelings, if they are taking that as an attack, then maybe they're not the right friends for you. Because how I see as friendship is for you to grow. You're supposed to grow together, be the better versions of yourself together.
I guess a piece of advice that I would like to add on and echo from Lydia is that definitely, like, you're not alone. I do want to echo that part because it's so important, when you feel like
Mhm.
you're in the situation, you feel like you're so alone because you feel like nobody can ever understand you because they're not in your
Mhm.
shoes, right?
Mhm.
But once you allow yourself to take off those shoes and have other people try it on, you would not believe how many people can fit in those shoes.
Mhm.
So definitely, you're not alone in your journey or your situation. Do tell people how you're feeling and do not bottle it in because if you bottle it in, you will become very bitter. You will become not the best, like I would say the worst version of yourself because
Mhm.
one, you will start talking shit about people.
Mhm.
Two, jealousy is gonna eat you.
Mhm.
And three, you're gonna start feeling insecure about yourself. And like you don't
Yeah.
ever want that. So
Mhm.
I would say try a lot of different techniques that work for you. So, like some of the coping techniques that Lydia and I shared, if those work for you, great. If they do not, don't feel disappointed or discouraged. I'm
Mhm.
sure some coping mechanisms out there would work perfectly for you, but may not work for me. So, we are different human beings. So, don't take it personal. I would say another advice I would give you is that surround yourself with a lot of the things that you like, that you enjoy doing. E Even if that means, your favorite hobbies, favorite food, favorite people, reading a book, whatever you like to do, surround yourself with that because it'll keep you grounded and it will pull you back to remembering who you are as a person. So
Mhm.
definitely do those things. So those are
Mhm.
some of my advice that I would have or like I would give to people who are currently experiencing challenges with a friendship fallout and struggling with their own mental health challenges. So thank you for that, Lydia. So to
Of
conclude,
course.
yeah, so to conclude today's conversation, I like to end my episodes with a quote. So this quote is by Oprah Winfrey, and it states, "Lots of people want to ride with you in the limo, but what you want is someone who would take the bus with you when the limo breaks down." So that is the quote that I want to share with all of us, and I feel like it has a lot of truth to it.
That, yeah.
So, literally, if you want to expand or maybe like elaborate like your own feelings and thoughts to this quote, feel free to.
This quote kind of reminds me of, if you fill my cup, I'll fill yours. It kind of like reminds me of that. And definitely, like that quote that I just said, if you fill my cup, I'll fill yours, or I filled your cup, but my cup is half full, so like the effort. But yeah, I'd love that quote. Like that definitely that definitely paints a really good picture of like, um who's in it with you and who's not, so
Hell yeah. I
I
love
love,
this
yeah,
quote.
I like that quote. I'm gonna use that quote now.
Yeah, I love this quote. Like, I really like how Oprah mentioned the limo, right? Because, like, who doesn't
Mhm.
wanna ride a limo? Everyone wants to
Right.
ride a limo, right?
Right,
But
right.
who will actually be there for you when the limo breaks down, and who's gonna take the bus with you? Because
Mhm.
the thing is, you know a true friend when they're there for you at your lowest, and I think that's what
Mhm.
the quote is giving me,
Yep.
is that a lot of people, yeah, a lot of people, they do want the, like, they do wanna be friends with you when you're your highest, right?
Mhm.
Because maybe it benefits them, or maybe they have other intentions, I don't know.
Mhm.
But the real friends are the ones that are there for you when you're not at your highest and when you're at your lowest. People who will
Mhm.
be willing to lift you up when your head is down low.
Yep.
Those are the real friends who you wanna ride the bus with for the rest of your life, or the
Mhm.
limo with for the best of your life,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I think that a true friend, if they're not able to love me when I'm at my lowest, then they don't deserve the best version of me.
I
So I think
agree.
this kind of reflects that, well, this quote specifically, so I really like this quote. So, yeah, thank you for giving me your insights, or just sharing your insights on this quote, and so to kind of conclude, or, like, to conclude this episode, I do want to ask, your last remarks, if you do have anything that you'd like to share to kind of tie everything together.
Um, just kind of what I said before. Just, be yourself. And no matter if you are going through challenges with friendships, just always know that there will always be somebody there for you. Um, and always remember to also do a self checkup too. Like, check up on yourself, do things that make you happy. Like Jessica said, surround yourself with, stuff that makes you happy. So it's okay. Some friends are meant to be in your life for the rest of your life, and some friends are just there to teach you a lesson and go on with their life. So they're
Mhm.
just there in your life for a short period, and that's okay because you can, like what I'm doing, you can take that as a lesson and apply it to your friendships, your current friendships, new friendships, or even relationships too. Like, some stuff you can take it and reflect yourself into your relationship as well. So um you will be okay. is what
Yes.
is what I want to say is you will be
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
last remarks. Kind of echoing Lydia on that. Well, first of all, thank you for being on here as
Mhm.
my guest. I feel like we have a really good and transparent conversation today. I feel like I learned a lot of new things about you, and hopefully you learned some things about me too.
I did.
Yeah, so I feel like this was a much needed conversation just between
Mhm.
us, and
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're able to share with the audience. I do hope that, to listeners out there, if you have made it this far, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate each and every single one of you. And to kind of echo on what Lydia said earlier, some friends, they they're only a chapter of your life, but then some friends, they're a whole book, like, they're the whole
Mhm.
book, and
Mhm.
you just and, like, once that chapter ends, you just gotta move on to the next page. Don't dwell on it, because the more you dwell on it, the more you're gonna lose yourself. So, those are my last remarks to kind of tie everything together with today's topic. Like I said, I hope that you find a thing or two from our conversation today to kind of relate to. If you did not, it's totally okay. I'm so glad you're here with us and listening through this whole episode. Besides that, I can't wait to see all of you again. So please follow me on my social media accounts, which is Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube. Otherwise, thank you all so much for your continued support. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. All right. Bye.